Welcome back to Market Insights Live, where we bring you the live take on our monthly Market Insights newsletter. I'm Steve.
And I'm Joe.
So, Joe, this month we're looking at some state and local IT spending trends, and I know you guys have done a lot of work on kind of tracking what's going on. What are you seeing? Should we feel good about this? Are we optimistic? Are we not? What's the take?
Well, we just released our 2018 IT estimates. So states and localities are expected to spend roughly $103 billion this year. That's up modestly from 2017. When we break that spend out between states and localities, we're seeing roughly an even split between states and localities spending roughly about $52 billion a year. But when we dig a little bit deeper through our GovTech Navigator procurement data, we start seeing an increase in procurement volume. In fact, we tracked about 35,000 opportunities last year issued by states and localities for technology.
Okay, and this is holding steady over a good period of time, right?
Correct, and in fact, if you look at over a 5-year period, it's almost double-digit growth over that period in terms of the volume of solicitations.
Okay, really good news then. And I think connected to another thing that we looked at in this month's newsletter around companies that are focusing on the government market. Government technology for the last 3 years has been tracking what we call the GovTech 100, and it is some new, but I guess a lot of new and some existing companies that focus their efforts on the gov market. And over that kind of same period of time, we're seeing more and more investment, more and more interest in this market, and I think from governments, more interest in kind of new companies and new blood and innovation to solve some of their problems.
Sometimes more important than the dollars is the direction of the market and the trends and priorities. And I think that GovTech 100 list is a reflection of the fact that you've got these new entrants and these existing players that are doubling down on the GovTech market because they see pain points that they can resolve, they see issues that they can bring solutions to market.
And for folks that are already in the market, these are potential partners or maybe competitors, right? I mean, you want to keep an eye on this list.
You're right, Steve. There are a variety of new players on the list, some who may be just stepping in to the GovTech market that could benefit from partnering with an existing player in this space to help them bring their solutions to market.
So Joe, let's talk turnover. We got a ton of governor elections coming up in November. What is it, 36 states with an election. A lot of those folks are termed out, so I mean, those positions will turn over. For folks selling into this market, you need to be ready for that.
Right, absolutely. This one of the most exciting things I think is a large election year. So with those 36 gubernatorial elections coming up, you got to look for that CIO turnover. You got to look for the departmental turnover. That's your opportunity to get in front of new decision makers, but also up until that election, take advantage of the fact that you have this relatively short 6 to 8 month window. With the 36 elections coming up, it's a tremendous opportunity for new relationships to be formed. What is really important, though, is to look at the structure of your IT organization. You've got centralized states, you've got decentralized states, and that structure is going to impact the amount of turnover that we see. In fact, even though it's still early, if you've been following on govtech.com, you're already seeing these CIOs start leaving office. You're starting to see department directors leave office.
Right.
It's really important that you're tracking that and trying to get out in front of that and establish those relationships because it means new priorities, new projects, and new conversations.
And that's almost a skill. I mean, you're always going to have to, the turnover among CIOs is somewhat constant, right? So you're always going to need to sort of prepare for that that administration change or that kind of rollover at the top.
I think I just heard a stat from our friends at NASCIO this week that in 2017 there was somewhere like 15 to 17 CIOs that turned over in a non-election year.
Right.
So with 36 elections, I mean, we're probably going to see that ratchet up. And that means it's really important that if you're selling to states, you've got a dedicated plan and a strategy.
So there you go, Market Insights Live. Hope you enjoyed it. If you like this kind of information, sign up for the newsletter. It comes out every month.